Okay, I think we're live. Let me do this so that you can hear me because I've got the board going through the computer. So welcome. Yes, it's 8 o'clock, or almost 8 o'clock, and right on cue, he's here.
I thought we started at 8:05 Central Standard
No,
Time.
we don't start at 8:00.
We should start at 8:05.
Yeah,
we're
not Turner. Put your headphones on. Say hi to YouTube Universe.
We're live, pal.
We're live, pal.
Actually, that's why I was hoping that you were going to open up with. You were going to go with the Vince McMahon-esque opening back from 1997 when they decided to go to the Attitude Era.
I tweeted that.
No, but I thought you were going to sit
on our account at SGTW.
I thought you were going to sit here and be like, to all of the SGTW universe, we've acknowledged that you want a different product, a new product. And then,
No.
Yeah, I thought you were going to take it like that and then be like, no, just kidding.
No.
Live, pal. We're live.
Yeah, we're live. Yeah, we're live now. So we decided to try something different. Something, and we're playing with it. Who knows if we do this every week or not. Sometimes we will, sometimes we won't. So what you're going to see is us recording the show just like we do every Tuesday night. Now, for those of you who are not in the Austin area, our show airs on Wednesday nights at 9 o'clock, although I think tomorrow night it will air at 8 o'clock because Soccer Matters apparently is taking the night off. On the Horn, which is 104.9, 101.9 FM, AM 1260, and it's also streamed at hornfm.com and the Horn Austin app for smartphones. So the usual Wednesday night lineup here the last several weeks is Soccer Matters with Glenn Davis at 7 o'clock, Fight Night with Eddie and Jordan, covering everything MMA and boxing at 8 o'clock, and then us with Sportscast Talking Wrestling at 9 o'clock. But I believe Soccer Matters is taking the night off, so everything's getting bumped up. So Eddie and Jordan will be on at 7, we'll be on at 8, and then we go to SB Nation Radio, what's left of them, at 9, because apparently SB Nation has been laying people off left and right. So anyway, you're going to see us do this. Now, there's a couple, I'll let you know now, and we'll probably remind you when we finish. There are a couple things to understand. So we're going to do 3 segments tonight. There is a 4th segment that might get inserted into the radio show if it happens, because I am scheduled tomorrow at noon Central, 6 p.m. British Standard Time. I say British Standard Time because I am scheduled to talk to our good friend Simon Miller from What Culture Wrestling, and do that via Skype. We traded messages last Friday. I've sent him to confirmation.
Now you use Zoom?
No, I use Skype. Skype's easier. And I've got his thing saved on Skype. So if that happens tomorrow, great. That will get inserted into the radio show, probably the middle segment, and we'll just talk whatever comes up. Simon's a positive Pete, kind of like me. So if that happens, great. If not, then you will hear what will go on the air for the most part. Now, we have to trim it because unlike podcasts where you can go as long as you want, radio, we have a set format. We have to get it to 45 minutes because you, of course, have to account for commercial breaks and that type of thing. So we have to cut it to 45 minutes that goes on the air. Now, obviously, we put the whole thing on podcast. And that's another thing we're going to change up. The podcast is going to go up tonight. I usually wait until just before the show airs or during the show airing to put the podcast out. We're going to put it up tonight because why not? You're watching us on Facebook, so why not? We got at least one person, so that hey, there's one.
Hi, Mom.
Yeah, checks us
She
out,
thinks
right?
I'm beautiful.
Well, that makes one person. So anyway. So we'll put the podcast
See,
out.
you could be heel.
No, it's just that's not heel. That's just
that's just inner stew.
That's just truth. Anyway, so we'll put the podcast out tonight, since you're watching on Facebook, and it'll be available on Facebook. So even if you don't watch live, there you go. So, all right. So, and this week it's going to be a lot of WWE stuff. We'll preview NXT TakeOver, which comes up this Sunday. And we get to bring back a segment that we haven't had in about 2.5 months. This weekend in independent wrestling, because we got a couple shows coming up. I plan to be at one of them, so
I'm interested to see how this is going to work.
Yeah, so we'll see. So here we go. We're gonna hit intros and get going. I'm gonna move my iced tea because it's right in the way of the recorder, and if I do that, I'll knock it over and probably short circuit everything. So let's do this.
Hi everybody, this is Jerry the King Lawler. That's right, WWE Hall of Famer Jerry the King Lawler, and you're listening to Sports Guys Talking Wrestling.
When they're not covering the sports world, they're talking about the world of professional wrestling.
It's Sports Guys Talking Wrestling.
Now, with Justin Simmons, here's Stu Myrick.
Sports Guys Talking Wrestling on the Horn. Stu Myrick, Justin Smash Simmons, and we are live on YouTube. Now, if you're listening to us on the Horn, no, we're not live on YouTube tonight. We're live Tuesday night, so a little bit of a clarification. But hey,
I'm glad you brought that up because I was a little confused there because I'm like, oh, is it a shoot? Like I'm supposed to pretend, like I'm supposed to just straight up be like I'm live and
you know that
I'm not live here on the radio, or I'm supposed to be like kayfabing it. Where I'm like, oh, we are live, pal, here on Wednesday night.
So you know our good friends Eddie Cross and Jordan Wahlberger. Hold on. They precede us on Wednesday nights with Fight Night. Apparently, they have the debate about whether they should pretend it's Wednesday night or not. I think Eddie's the one that says no. Let's let them know it's whatever. And I think we've said it plenty of times that we pull back the curtain. We can record this on Tuesday nights because
we're recording it live now.
Yes, we're recording it live now. If you're watching on YouTube, so we record this that way. Basically, it's pure economics. I don't have to pay for a producer. So anyway, so there you go.
The magic of radio.
Yes. And we've got several of the shows, especially the weeknight shows and the weekend shows. For instance, I know Soccer Matters records Longhorn Blitz with Rod Babers. Our cohort, I still call him the third co-host. He shares that title with Dustin Rhodes. But Jeff Howe from Horns 24/7 and Matt, and I can't remember his last name. Forgive me, Matt. I'm sorry. Longhorn Blitz, they pre-record. Who else? I think Patrick Davis pre-records Instant Series on Monday nights.
I'm just giving away all the company secrets tonight.
Yeah, well, I think it's kind of widely known. So anyway, but yeah.
It was kind of like that wrestling tape. Do you remember that back on Fox?
The wrestling tape?
The one that gave away all the secrets. From like the mid-90s.
Oh, that part with Continental Lover, Eddie.
Yeah,
Eddie
Mansfield.
Mansfield, thank you. Yes, who we got to talk to in 2017 at the Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame.
I didn't know who he was at first.
Before we realized, he's
that's the one.
Yes, if you watched Dark Side of the Ring, this was the.
It's the John Stossel episode.
Yes,
with
Dr. D. David Schultz.
It's the Dr. D episode.
Right, Dr. D. David Schultz hits John Stossel from 2020. That it was talked about that Eddie Mansfield talked to John Stossel and showed him a lot of the inside secrets of pro wrestling.
Oh yeah, they show the footage.
And it was aired on 2020, and Eddie Mansfield was apparently blacklisted in the wrestling community. So we got to talk to him without even knowing. This was 3 years ago, so I remember the name, but I couldn't remember why I knew the name.
Yeah, and to, no offense, but age, time kind of takes a toll on all of us. We all not going to look exactly the same like we do in our prime.
True.
So it was just like, even if I did see him in his prime, I probably wouldn't have been able to equate with him like who I expected to see in that chair. It's kind of like when we met Ronnie Garvin. It's all like, oh, I thought he'd be bigger in person. And it's like, that's not disrespect. It's just saying that, like, your picture, if you haven't seen somebody besides the videotape, it's going to be vastly different.
Ronnie Garvin was a little easier only because he kept the same look that he had back in the 80s with the flat top and everything. And that face is just, I don't know, that face was instantly recognizable. So now I'll tell you what, a face that would be hard for me to recognize nowadays, someone that we've talked to a long time ago, was gorgeous Jimmy Garvin.
Oh
He's
yeah,
bald.
he's bald.
He's
That's
bald. And he had those curly locks that that Sunshine or Precious would spray like copious amounts of hairspray on
That's
back in
right.
the world class days. So,
You think that's what did it?
what?
The hairspray?
I don't think so. I think it was simply a matter of age. It hits us all. I mean, those of you seeing on YouTube, you can see it's hitting me.
I'm like,
so.
I'm just trying to keep mine for as long as I can keep it.
I know. Well, you're younger, so it's
Yeah, but not by that much.
So, this
The new
week,
generation was a long time ago.
yeah, that's true. That's true. I was watching before we started FS1. They've been doing this best of WWE thing that leads into WWE Backstage with Renee Young and our good friend Booker T and our other good friend Mark Henry. And tonight, Tuesday night, they've been showing WrestleMania 31. And I just happened to be flipping, and they stopped just in time to see Sting and Triple H. The match that still pisses me off because they didn't let Sting take the victory.
Talking about Sting, did you see the what was it, that vault footage of Sting where he basically
The lost tape, yes.
Yeah,
Sting
that
the
was
lost
cool.
tape on WWE Network. They had uncovered basically what it was. So this was leading up to Sting battling Big Bubba Rogers. Most of you know him as the Big Boss Man. But before then, he was Big Bubba Rogers. He worked forever. He worked as Jim Cornette's bodyguard at one time. And so that was the match at Slamboree 95, WCW Slamboree. I think that was the first one because they touted it as a legend reunion. And they brought in like Harley Race. They brought in Nick Bockwinkel, who was the AWA World Champion for a long time. Brought in several other legends. And so there was a match with Sting and Big Bubba Rogers. And so they did this kind of a back, behind the scenes, showing Sting, mixing in with the crowd that was there at the venue, and then him talking to Marcus Bagwell. Before he was buff, he was Marcus Alexander Bagwell, and showed him talking to Macho Man Randy Savage. And Macho Man, you actually got to hear Macho Man Randy Savage without the Macho Man voice. Yeah, so that was interesting.
Like you could tell they were like good friends.
Yeah,
Legit good friends.
Yeah,
I wasn't
so-
expecting to see that, and his voice being normal, that was kind of shocking.
And you got to see him putting on the face paint, and this was back in the, he still had the blonde Surfer Sting, the blonde flat top, did the wild colors, talked about, his inspiration for the face paint, said he doesn't have he didn't have a set template at that time. It was however he felt where the paintbrush went,
Yeah, see, I love little nuances like that in almost all my uniform details, so to get it straight from him back in his heyday,
absolutely,
and never seen this before. It's so hard to find new stuff, I feel, as a wrestling fan, because it's like most of the stuff I've already known. I'm just watching stuff to kill time, but I've already seen and heard about the Click 1,000 times. But this was fresh. This was new.
Fresh. Well, this was done kind of in the spirit of what we see today with WWE 24 and Day of and those specials that they have on WWE Network. Except this was taped 25 years ago.
Yeah, if he would have
in 1995. If there had been a WCW network, this would have been on it.
If they had released this tape, I think it would have definitely, especially during that time period, definitely would have angered some people in the industry, because it was like kayfabe was kind of dying, but it was still really well protected.
It was still pretty protected, yeah. Remember, this was before the NWO. This is pre-NWO. This is what, 2 years into. This would have been the year that Nitro debuted, 95.
Yeah, I was going to say Nitro wasn't really a thing. I thought Nitro was 96.
Nitro was still. No, it was 95. Now Scott Hall coming out, that was 96.
Okay.
But Nitro was still about a year. Was still in its infancy. They were still trying to find their footing a little bit. So, But yeah, what a great little piece of footage. It was really really cool. So, couple of notes from this week. I want to start with SmackDown. The way that they basically ended up taking Jeff Hardy and Elias out of the Intercontinental Tournament. They did this thing. If you didn't see it, they did this thing. They opened up SmackDown outside the Performance Center, and Elias is being stretchered, taken to an ambulance because his car he got hit by a car, and they find Jeff Hardy, and he smells of alcohol, and they decided to arrest him and take him away. And then the whole thing basically ends up being there was a battle royal. Sheamus wins the battle royal. He faces Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan wins. It's going to be Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles for the Intercontinental Championship, and not at Backlash. It's going to happen on the SmackDown before Backlash on June 12th.
Interesting that they give away a pay-per-view match on SmackDown.
Yeah, I'm a little. That seems odd to me too. What did you think? And putting this in kind of context of they've just brought Jeff back. They had this whole thing about his redemption and shown all these videos, and then he started this feud with Sheamus. What did you think of them kind of leaning into Jeff's personal demons, using him in this storyline? It just seemed a little soon for that. And it seemed a little weird.
I don't even want to use the word soon, Stu. I'm just going to say uneasy because...
Okay, I'm good. I'm glad I'm not the same one.
Well, I mean, I'm not sure if that is an appropriate storyline for a company like this. Unfortunately, I mean, if this was the Attitude Era, and even then that didn't feel right because of the circumstances around that. But I mean, they were going for the shock value of shock value, but I don't think they really placate to shock value necessarily anymore.
It felt very much Attitude Era booking,
but it was just too strong. It was like
yeah. They had apparently they were talking about how Jeff Hardy smelled of alcohol, and I'm going, oh, why are you going down this road? He just came back.
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay, I guess. Weird. Yeah, I mean, I saw a lot of people on Twitter kind of uncomfortable too, and I was like, I get it. I mean, there's a certain segment that's just not going to agree with anything, but I was like, I mean, there could have been a better way maybe to take him out.
Well, I mean, obviously the easiest way would have been just have the matches and have Jeff Hardy lose and have Elias lose. But and I didn't so much mind going in this different direction, but to involve Jeff Hardy like that just seemed like, and we've seen WWE do this a lot, where they will go head first into taking a real life situation and turning it into storyline.
Yeah.
This was, it was a little cringeworthy.
Wow, it's kind of funny that you think about it now.
It's weird that you and I are agreeing with this too.
Or at least I think it's comical in the sense, and I don't mean to make light of the situation because obviously Jeff has problems still that he's dealing with, but it seems that the Hardys really come out on the short end with WWE and their personal lives getting played out in front of the masses.
I mean, I tell you what, it almost makes you wonder if Jeff didn't think,
and that's because Jeff's the popular one?
Maybe I should have followed Matt to AEW.
I mean, maybe. I'm not sure what type of deal Matt Hardy's getting at AEW. I'm not sure if, I mean, you would think that Jeff would get the same one, but at the same token...
I'm sure Matt's getting paid, and B, they have done way beyond good by him. I mean, we're getting the Broken Brilliance, albeit a little late, but that's okay. We're getting the whole Broken and the Damascus and all that good stuff, and he's using the different versions of Matt Hardy.
Yeah.
And I think it'd be even better to see Brother Nero show up in the AEW. But
I mean, maybe, but he looks like he was poised to get another run with the championship.
Right.
At least one last great run.
And I kind of had a feeling this could have, with the IC title. But
it would have been a start.
It would have been a start. So I don't know. It just seemed a little.
Or maybe he soured on him. right after resigning the contract. Who knows?
I hope
it happens.
I guess, but it just seemed a little, there's. I mean, and then they had him come out towards the end of the show. It was Daniel Bryan and Sheamus had the upper hand. Here comes Jeff Hardy down the ramp, distracts Sheamus. Daniel Bryan hits him with the knee. 1, 2, 3. Daniel Bryan goes on to the finals. So, and I guess the Sheamus Jeff Hardy rivalry will continue. We'll see if that gets added to Backlash for not this Sunday, but next Sunday. Speaking of cringeworthy, AEW Dynamite last week. Now, don't get me wrong, I love AEW Dynamite. I watch it live and then record NXT. But the final segment with Chris Jericho and Mike Tyson, you got the shirt on. Yeah, he's showing the shirt off for the YouTube guys. The final segment, I'm not sure what they were trying to accomplish with that. Whatever it was, I think they missed.
Nobody was talking about that though.
Yeah.
Everybody was talking about everything else surrounding Tyson.
It was Tyson. And Tyson was out there with Vitor Belfort and Henry Cejudo, a couple other MMA guys. Rashad Evans was out there as well.
So I didn't catch it, so I didn't even see.
You didn't see it? Okay. It was just
see, that's how much that apparently didn't register to anybody else.
Yeah. I know what they were getting to, and they're going to do this thing with Jericho and Tyson.
That's great, but you explained it, but I don't want the explanation. What made it bad? What made it? It
wasn't anything like distasteful. It was just I guess they wanted Tyson to say something, or maybe Jericho was trying to get him to respond to some trying to lead him in the back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And Tyson wasn't quite catching it, which, look, Mike Tyson, he's called the best man on the planet for a reason. He's 53 years old, and he's in incredible shape. They're talking about getting back in the ring.
Yeah.
In fact, I think we heard Eddie and Jordan talk about, the possibility he may fight as a cruiserweight. But nevertheless, it just, I don't know, it felt like they were just spinning and spinning and spinning before finally they had this pull apart brawl and everything. So I don't know, it was a minor miss. It wasn't distasteful like Jeff Hardy, but it was like, maybe just because it went really long.
Oh, well, they're not going to nail it every time,
Yeah,
but
right,
I hardly would think that was anything that...
It was a minor complaint.
I was like, I didn't catch that part then. I was like, what was so bad? I was like, yeah, I know, it went a little long, but they got what they wanted out of it.
I hope so, and I think they did. We'll see. It just went, it's like, all right, let's carry it on. So, one thing that has gone right this week, the 24/7 championship is back where it belongs, around the waist of R-Truth.
I think Gronk could have played and still competed.
Well, I think he could, but...
It would have been terrific crossover for the network, for the WWE, for Gronk, for Fox NFL. Come on.
Right, but let's understand this. When he signed this contract with WWE, he was retired. He's got his rings with the Patriots, and he was retired.
Stu, I don't want to...
And then all of a sudden...
2 words. Dennis Rodman.
Rob Gronkowski is not Dennis Rodman.
Dennis Rodman.
Yeah, there's a big difference. There's a huge difference. Gronk's a partier.
Is there?
Well, Gronk never dated Madonna, for one thing.
Madonna probably doesn't hold the same cachet during the time period.
I know.
I'm just saying, my man.
That was more a joke.
It's Dennis Rodman wrestled during the NBA Finals.
Oh, we know. He got touched on in The Last Dance.
I think Gronkowski could take a roll-up pin outside his house during the season if need be.
Yeah, but the only difference is you didn't have
He would have
it's
taken
just-
the
it was
belt
different.
with him in the locker room. It would have been great crossover publicity.
I don't think the Buccaneers wanted it, quite frankly. I think that's why. Because Wrestling Inc., our friends at Wrestling Inc., Nick Osmond and the gang, they reported that Gronk has been released from his WWE contract.
Oh yeah, I saw that too.
So my guess is this was, again, it was expected. It was done because Gronk was retired. When Gronk unretired
No,
and got traded to the Bucks,
That's fine, but it could have been so much more fun.
oh, it could have been, sure.
That's what
I
I'm saying.
agree.
It would have been so much more fun. And
Sure.
there's precedents for this. Kevin Green wrestled while he was still an active football player.
Yeah,
Was he retired?
Yeah, he wasn't. You're right. He was with the Panthers, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, this was after his time with the Steelers. He was with the Panthers.
Essentially
we
the same boat where Gronk is now.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, it may have just been the Buccaneers said,
Who would have known that
get out of this
my useless
contract.
NFL knowledge would have came in handy tonight?
I talked to Kevin Green about that a few years ago I think it was in San Francisco at the Super Bowl, and he said he had a good time. You know, he enjoyed it.
Oh.
So this was right when he was going into the Pro Football Hall of Fame. So
I was going to say, I guess LT was retired at the time.
one thing, yeah, LT was retired. Found out that Matt Riddle is coming to SmackDown, so his NXT career is done. He's heading to SmackDown. So that'll be an interesting. Who's Matt Riddle's first opponent for on SmackDown?
I don't know, but it seems like they want to have him versus Brock at some point if they can make that happen. I think
They're not going to do it. Brock doesn't want it.
I know he doesn't, but I think money talks.
I don't think Vince has enough money to make Brock want to fight Matt Riddle.
Undertaker said he was going to be done like 3 matches ago.
True.
But they just keep on piling the money in the dump truck and dropping it off.
That's
and
true.
somehow he finds a way to make it to the ring. I'm thinking.
I'm not going to hold my breath. Let's put it that way.
Did you think that you're going to see Brock take the butt whooping that he did against like Drew McIntyre and drop the belt like that at the very beginning of the show?
I knew he was going to drop the belt. I didn't think it'd be. I didn't expect that kind of a match.
Yeah, I didn't think he'd be dominated. I mean, don't get me wrong. Good for Drew that he stomps the beast and stops him like definitively.
Yeah. Also, WWE has debuted a free version of the WWE Network. It will have archived Raw, SmackDown, and NXT episodes, select original programming, and the return of Raw Talk, which debuted Monday night with Charlie Caruso and Samoa Joe. So I think a lot of fans are hoping that Talking Smack comes back as well on this free version of the network.
You know, we'll see.
No credit card required.
I know. I'm interested to see how that plays out. But I'm really interested more so in like what happened on Monday Night Raw last night, because I'm not sure about you, but if I can take away from anything from one segment, it looks like Bobby Lashley, at least, looks like an actual opponent for the World Championship belt.
Tell you what, hold on to that. Let's do that next segment, because we're going to do that. Plus, we're going to preview NXT TakeOver coming this Sunday. 3 title matches, 5 matches total. We'll let you know what we think about that. On the other side of this break, you're listening to Sports Guys Talking Wrestling, and you're listening to The Horn. All right, first segment. Now, of course, I'll have to record a new ending if I do get Simon. And we'll trim that up and all that good, we'll put it in. But we'll put it in the podcast only segment.
Oh,
So,
that should just be like, oh, everybody, welcome back, and here is On the Line, whatever it is.
oh yeah, by the way, yeah. By the way, hey YouTube, we're so as you, in case you can't tell. So we finished the first segment. We're going to do another segment, which will either be the middle segment of the radio show or the podcast only segment. So I'm looking down because the computer's here. So I'm making sure we're still connected. Which, by the way, let's do this. Yeah, we're still going. So, anyway,
Well, I'm not expecting views on night one.
yeah, I know. I think we get 1 or 2, but we'll see.
Thanks, Dad.
Yeah. See, at least you got parents that will watch you. So, all right, let's do the second segment of the podcast only segment.
Now they're retired now.
Yeah, here we go.
Shock the system.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Adam Cole, baby. And you're listening to Sports Guys Talking Wrestling.
Back here on Sports Guys Talking Wrestling, Stu Meyer, Justin Smash Simmons. Before we get to NXT TakeOver, let's continue this thought you had on Bobby Lashley. So, at Backlash, Bobby Lashley will challenge Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. Looks like Bobby Lashley will have at least MVP in his corner.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm talking about more so how he looked at the end of all of this on Monday night. Usually the WWE gets a lot of hate, and rightfully so, because they don't build things properly. And granted, there's not a whole lot of time to build it, but
Right.
the way that they made him look so dominant against a dominant champion, because, I mean, he has that explosive Claymore kick. He just seems like,
The Claymore out of nowhere.
yeah, I was going to say, but the way that he defeated Brock shows that, yes, he's supposed to be the dominant one, and then to have Bobby Lashley, who, and rightfully so, they bring this up. This is when working into the character's past finally works, where they mentioned how many years he's been in the business and how he's never had the WWE Championship shot or Universal Championship, whatever.
Right.
How he's never had a shot at their main title. So this is like a great storyline for him, and showing that, oh yeah, don't forget, this guy is like, super athletic, just as dominant as Lesnar can be in real life, if you haven't remembered.
Right.
And just because he's a little bit older doesn't mean that he's not as good as he used to be, because he's still pretty dang close.
It's ironic because on Impact Wrestling, their clip of the week, their like classic clip of the week, just happened to be Drew Galloway versus Bobby Lashley for the TNA World Title from a few years ago.
Yeah.
They were still in TNA or Impact Wrestling, whatever you want to call it. I get confused because Moose is still carrying around the TNA World Title and it's still Impact Wrestling. But yeah, I mean, it's good that they actually have a legit challenger, or at least they're making Bobby Lashley look like a legit
I
challenger.
mean, do you like the full Nelson?
Oh, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
I mean, it's great for him. It's like, I think that was the thing that he's been missing.
Well, and the crazy thing is, I don't think anybody has used the full Nelson in like 30 years.
I think Chris Masters in the Master Lock Challenge was like the last time I can remember it being
That's-
anything
yeah.
really important.
Yeah.
And I mean, he had a really good run out of that. I mean,
And before them, it was Ken Patera, maybe? No.
maybe, yeah. I think
But he used to be like the strong, like a Ken Patera or.
it's a strong, dominant
Yes.
man's move.
Right.
And it's just all like, even though Lashley has the same size as Brock Lesnar, pretty much the same athleticism, and obviously has a pretty similar background. I mean, he wasn't a UFC champion, but still had professional wins in MMA.
Right, he fought in Bellator.
Yeah, so to be basically like his kin to Brock Lesnar's Ryu. I know I lost you with the video game reference, but my friends out there know exactly what I'm talking about. He's like a palette swap, if you will.
Okay, all right. No,
If you pick the same character, you would have Brock
Right.
versus Lashley. Like, they're pretty much
Okay.
almost pretty much the same. But in order for him to actually have like this chance in WWE, it just makes a huge difference. And to have this type of hold, I always felt that he just didn't show the explosiveness.
Yeah.
Like something was missing from his character.
It was. No, it was. You're absolutely right.
And we can't. I mean, he's not going to be a great talker, although he's gotten much, much better. This kind of does all the talking for him.
He has done a little bit better. Now, of course, all this will be not because they will find a way. It'll either be MVP costs him the title or Lana costs him the title because I think they're still simmering on the whole Bobby Lashley Lana breakup thing.
You want to talk about cringe, though. That Lana part, I didn't get at all.
I didn't either. That was. I see what they're trying to do, but they are missing by a mile.
Yeah, that one really, really missed hard.
Yeah.
Like, not even kind of.
Yeah.
Like, no, just straight up miss.
Yeah, and I hate to say this, but because I love seeing Lana on TV, I don't really want to see Lana on TV in this. Let's have the kind of the, you know, at least two of the beatdown crew reunion and see what they can do, because MVP and Lashley had a pretty good thing going in Impact.
Yeah.
I'd like to see some of that transposed to Monday Night Raw.
It looks like that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
And it's good to see MVP get like a little title shot too.
I do.
You know, after putting all the years that he has put in the business.
Yeah. So this Sunday, NXT TakeOver in Your House. That's still kind of cool that they're using the old logo. It is this Sunday, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central on the WWE Network. Card looks like this. Finn Balor will take on Damian Priest.
Are we never going to see the Demon again?
I don't think so. At least not for a while. I think we are in the Prince Devitt version of Finn Balor. While we have the Prince Devitt version of Finn Balor, we will not see the Demon.
But how does this guy go from Universal Champion to opener on NXT? And not saying that the curtain jerk, if you will, isn't in like an important position, because it is. I mean, you set the tone for the rest of the night. It's just that the guys on the lower part of the card usually don't get paid as much as the people on the higher end of the card.
Well, remember, it's NXT TakeOver, so it's only 5 matches. So, and it may not be the first match. It's just the first one I've got listed, but it may not be the first match of the card.
But he's not going to be in the main event.
No, he's not going to be in the main
And it's just
event.
like this guy was in the main event.
He's been, I agree. Now, as far as, when going from Universal Champion to what we see now, part of that was just horrendous luck because of injuries. Part of it was horrendous booking on Raw or SmackDown, whichever show you want.
But is he done? I mean, it seemed like all the momentum was there, and like, yes, unfortunate injury, obviously, because he finished the match with a separated shoulder. But it's just kind of like, oh, is the momentum gone? Like, this is it. That was it. That was the best we were going to get to see of him at the highest level, because let's admit, Raw's still the A show, right?
Allegedly, yes.
Yeah. So I'm just like, I feel unfortunately this is like the downslope of the career. Like,
I hope not, but it's hard not to at least have that in the back of your mind.
I mean, all the great ones go through it.
Right. And especially someone that has wrestled as hard as Finn Balor, Prince Devitt, whichever name you want to use.
I mean, I'm trying not to
throughout his years.
Because Daniel Bryan came back, from something really bad and was able to come back and win the title. But at the same token,
I think for right now, it seems like he wants to do this Prince thing.
But has he lost the crowd? I guess that's my big question, because like the way that the crowd has always loved Daniel Bryan, obviously the crowd was really behind the Demon. They really loved the Finn Balor. They loved the entrance. But has that sustained? Because I haven't really seen a lot of NXT, and when I do, I'm not watching him.
Right, and I think that's part of the problem is that they've tried to go back to capture what captured the crowd in New Japan. The problem is New Japan crowd and NXT crowd are not the same. It's closer than New Japan crowd versus Raw crowd, but it's still not there. And I think that there is they brought him back, had him turn heel on, was it Gargano? Yes. Gargano, and in effect, but he was also battling Undisputed Era. Then he had the match with Gargano. Now he's battling Damian Priest, so we don't know if he's a heel or face. And I'll be on. And the crazy thing is, as much as we talk about tweeners and nobody looks at face and heel anymore, I think right now there's confusion more than anything. What is the Prince Devitt version of Finn Balor? Is he supposed to be a bad guy? Just a badass? What?
That's
and we don't know.
Good way of putting it there. I'm really not sure. But the one thing that this card kind of tells me is that, Damian Priest probably should win this.
You would think so.
I mean, if you're trying to build him the way properly, this is.
But that's the thing. Who's getting built? Is it Finn Balor or Damian Priest?
You would think it's Priest. I mean, after the introduction that they had a couple of weeks ago, everybody was talking about it. I mean, that was like probably the number one thing.
Yeah.
And that probably surprised or surpassed AEW that week too, I think, was that intro. Like everybody was talking about that.
Well, I like Damian Priest. I think, and of course, knew him back as Punishment Martinez in Ring of Honor. Got to talk to him many times. Great guy. Want to see him do well. So I think it's just a matter of, okay, where are they going with this? And I don't think anybody really knows. Nobody has a feel one way or the other. So other matches on the card. Tommaso Ciampa will face Karrion Kross.
That introduction.
I said it a couple weeks ago. With Scarlett, who, by the way, good God. And we've seen her in person. She appeared at Wrestle Circus a couple times. That's going to be a hell of a match. I get the feeling Karrion Kross will get the win because I think he's going to be built up as the next monster heel. Not really monster, but the next big heel. And the problem with that is, okay, then where does Ciampa go? Because Ciampa's done pretty much everything in NXT. But it seems like he wants to stay in NXT.
I guess he can go.
Gargano's made it clear he wants to stay in NXT. And both of them were ready for Raw or SmackDown, a year ago.
I mean, they had their chance.
They had
just injuries.
Yeah.
Unfortunate injuries.
Speaking of Gargano, he will challenge our man, Keith Lee, for the NXT North American Championship. And I get the sneaky suspicion that Gargano will find a way to win and become the North American champion again.
Wow, so you think that Ciampa would go after Gargano again for the North American title?
No, for the love of God. We've done that. We've blown that feud off. Let's not do that again.
I mean, because the only possible thing is that they become a tag team.
Who?
And reform.
Reform DIY?
Yeah.
That ain't going to happen either.
It's the next logical step.
Because Tommaso Ciampa is kind of a babyface right now.
Yeah.
So Johnny Gargano's a heel right now.
I know. That's
why. The vignettes with him and Candice LeRae.
Is it working for you?
It's interesting. I'm intrigued enough, and especially when you put them with Keith Lee and Mia Yim, I'm kind of digging it.
Okay.
It's got me interested.
It hasn't hit me yet because I just felt that Keith was just going to roll, but I guess it's a possibility. I just don't see it happening right now.
Now, and that's also kind of leads to the whole thing about there has been a lot of talk. You talk to other outlets and other people that say it is time for Keith Lee to go to Raw or SmackDown. And I couldn't agree more.
Does he go to? Which roster would benefit more by having him? Because the Raw, let's admit, Raw wasn't bad. Raw was pretty entertaining. Aleister Black getting a win against Seth Rollins.
No, I don't think. With Keith Lee, I'm not sure it would matter. I think he would improve both shows, and both shows have been pretty good.
Yeah, but which one needs the more improvement? Like roster-wise, SmackDown just got AJ Styles.
Yeah, they just got AJ.
And that guy, arguably, is probably the best worker on the roster right now.
And if you believe the rumors, Dominic Dijakovic, used to be Donovan Dijak, is heading to, I think, Raw. So.
Okay, yeah, that guy before the injuries I thought he was already ready.
So it might be Raw. The other two title matches, Charlotte Flair will defend the NXT Women's Championship in a triple threat against Io Shirai and Rhea Ripley.
So that means she gets to win it again.
I think she's keeping it, and she'll continue to show up on all three brands. And then in the main event, Adam Cole will defend the NXT title against Velveteen Dream. Word on the street is that this match will have a cinematic feel to it. And if you believe the rumors, it's already been taped. It's ready to go. And it'll be interesting to watch.
Do you believe the rumors?
Yes.
Okay.
Because the rumors I've heard are from very reputable sources.
Understood.
So, anyway, so expect that as the main event in a cinematic format.
Are they already overdoing it with the cinematic format of wrestling? Especially that's the main event.
Not yet. They're getting close.
I guess. Well, let's look at it this way. One was apparently the first two were pretty good to really good, right?
Yeah.
Undertaker and the Funhouse, right?
Well, and then they had
then
Ciampa and Gargano on NXT. Now it's this one.
But I was gonna say the last one was Money in the Bank, and that was okay. It had its points, it had its misses.
Yeah.
So this one, what do you
like
expect?
I said, I don't know. We'll see.
You expecting more, WrestleMania or more Money in the Bank?
We gotta go break. That's what I'm saying. We'll see. I don't know what to expect. I hope it's good. I think they're getting close to overdoing it. We'll see, though. We gotta take a quick time out. When we come back, guess what? We got events to talk about. This weekend in Independent Wrestling, we will see a couple of events. We'll tell you about those and a couple other notes before we get out of here. You're listening to Sports Guys Talking Wrestling on the Horn, 104.9, 101.9, AM 1260. You can stream it live at Horn FM and HornFM.com and the Horn Austin app. And my tongue gets tied.
We're live, pal.
We're live, pal. So, no, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I was trying, because I'm trying to limit the number of edits. I do think they are leaning on that a bit.
Are you still recording this?
Yeah. Oh, we're live on YouTube.
Pal.
Pow. I need to get that. I need to get that from the old Mean Gene clip.
Oh yeah.
It does seem like in AEW did it with the Stadium Stampede. That was pre-taped. Now, obviously AEW, they only doing, they've done, I think, 2. They've done that one, and then they did, what was it, Moxley and, who was it in the street fight for the title? Wasn't Brody Lee, it was before him, who was it? Happened on Dynamite, because JR called it. Anyway,
I see, but this is something I've always had with the Mox character. It's just like every match is the same. And that's why it's difficult to kind of go back into that vault right there.
Yeah, no, I'm just trying to remember the.
I mean, yeah, that's like his thing. I understand. I'm not dishing his work or anything. I'm just saying that
It was.
they kind of run together sometimes.
Who was it? I don't know. Anyway, like I said, there is a balance. They haven't tipped that balance yet. I think they're starting to approach it. Again, I have no idea. I've heard a few things about the Art Adam Cole and Velveteen Dream match. I hear that it was outdoors. Apparently, it was this whole you know the scenes in some movies where you have like a fight and there's cars parked in like a shape with the headlights shining inside, shining the area where the fight is. You know what I'm talking about?
So it's like, what is it called? West Side Story?
I guess. I don't know.
It's like Beat It. It's like the music video of Bad.
Maybe.
You don't remember Bad?
Right. Yeah. That was 30 years ago at least.
I mean, Beat It has the knife. No, Bad has the knife fight in it. Wesley Snipes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Anyway, so again, I think it. And it's hard to say because I think as long as they're good, as they make them, good, they'll earn themselves a little bit of credit. As far as like using that format. But even then, there will come a point where it's kind of like, oh God, another cinematic match. And I get why they're doing it because they're trying to make it different because of the fact they don't have fans outside of the Performance Center athletes. That's something else I wanted to touch on.
I mean, you're touching on it right now, pal.
That's something I wanted. No. There's something else I wanted to touch on. Tell you what, we'll do this now. Let's do this now. We won't do this during the show. One of the things So on Monday Night Raw, I'm watching, and they got all the NXT, they got some of the NXT wrestlers and the Performance Center athletes. And what's weird is, so you'll see, like I saw Shotzi, you could tell Shotzi Blackheart in the crowd anywhere because of that bright green hair. So I saw her. Saw Tegan Knox out there, or not Tegan Knox, Dakota Kai. But also saw, good Lord, brains for it. Robert Stonebrand, Hot Mess, Laurel Van Ness from TNA. I am blanking out. Chelsea Green, thank you.
I was like, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
That makes you
But I can see her in the crowd.
Yeah.
Just, cheering, whatever. And look, WWE has long since decided to just throw continuity, show continuity out the window. But you got Chelsea Green, who plays a heel on NXT, out there cheering baby faces on Raw as a crowd member. And it's just a little weird. Especially like when Charlotte came out, when Charlotte Flair came out to fight Asuka. And I couldn't tell if she was cheering for Asuka or not, because on NXT the previous week she had tagged with Charlotte Flair against Io Shirai and Rhea Ripley. So it was just, I don't know, it was just weird.
Well, then that would make sense that she would cheer for Charlotte.
But I don't know if she was cheering for Charlotte. I think she may have been cheering for Asuka.
Well, then maybe she did her job because we're talking about her.
Maybe, I don't know. Anyway,
I thought you were going to bring up the fact that everybody was complaining that they stood for 8 hours straight because they didn't get any chairs.
Well, that's another thing. I mean, at least AEW, they put chairs out there for,
I know it's mean, but guess what? I've worked retail during this whole COVID thing, and you're not going to get any sympathy from me. I know what it's like, right?
All right, let's do this last segment, just because I'm excited to actually talk about live events.
If you don't know, you should know. This is the Bear, the final boss, Ruthless Ryan Davidson, and you are listening to Sports Guys Talking Wrestling.
Sports Guys Talking Wrestling on the horn. Stu Myrick, Justin Smash Simmons. It's kind of fun. We had AEW Double or Nothing last weekend. Got NXT TakeOver in Your House this weekend. And then Backlash featuring the greatest wrestling match ever next weekend.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot that's what it was billed as.
Yes, Edge and Orton. Which...
It should steal the show. It should steal the show.
Name a Randy Orton match that has ever stolen the show. Randy Orton is a fine wrestler. He's a great wrestler.
I want to say one of the WrestleManias where he probably turned heel at the end, probably like mid-2000s.
That has nothing to do with the match. That's the result.
You just asked when he stole the show. That's all you asked.
And I said a Randy Orton match that stole the show.
Oh, easily him versus Mick Foley when he took the thumbtacks.
True. I'll give that.
I was going to say that one easily stole the show.
That's because he took thumbtacks from Mick Foley.
Yeah.
Our friend.
Without wearing a shirt. Yeah.
Professional Wrestling Hall of Famer. WWE Hall of Famer.
So that one stole the show.
Here's something we have not done in 2.5 months, and I'm so glad we get to do it. We get to talk about live events this weekend. Yay!
Now you all see what I have to put up with.
Yes. We will start right here in Austin. AAPW will present live wrestling Saturday at the AAPW Arena, 1702 Aldridge Drive, Suite A2, right here in the ATX. Bell time 8 p.m. 2 matches they have advertised. There will be a triple threat title unification match. It will be the AAPW Heavyweight Champion Christopher Black taking on the America's Champion El Rayo, taking on the Social Media Television Champion Rob the Builder. Plus a triple threat women's championship match. Livy Loca will defend the title against Jasmine Allure and Burt Vixen. That's AAPW this Saturday in Austin. And by the way, they usually stream theirs live on Facebook. So if you can't be at the AEW Arena, stream it live on Facebook. Search America's Academy of Pro Wrestling. Plus, Metroplex Wrestling presents Mayhem at Mid-City Saturday at the MPX Arena in Bedford. They'll time 8 p.m. Dave Segan, Dirty Andy Dalton, Prince Adams, Sky Deli Formosa, and more. That's Metroplex Wrestling Saturday night in Bedford, up in the Metroplex. And that's a look at independent wrestling around the area. Make sure you go out and support independent wrestling while you are careful and social distance and all that good stuff.
I was going to say, you're really excited about that.
I am.
Turned it up to 11.
Dude.
I had to put my volume down.
It's been, well, now, and the funny thing with Metroplex Wrestling, I believe they started last week with a live event. So kudos to them. I mean, look, and believe me, I have heard every report about COVID-19. But there comes a point when it's kind of like, I just want to get out and see something. So please be careful. Please be careful.
Yeah, I was like, you're welcome to, but at least.
And by the way, and the APW said, look, wear the face coverings. They're going to do temperature checks at the door. They're going to, the seating will be where social distance, the 6 feet apart and all that good stuff. So I know APWs at least, and I'm pretty sure Metroplex Wrestling will do this as well. And I've seen several other independent promotions around Texas that say they're going to take these precautions. But at the same time, we get to see live wrestling.
Yeah.
So and I love going to AAPW. Our good friend Ray Campos and Steve Areno and everybody there get to go hang out with Steve Areno.
It's been a while. I know he got some new shirt. Buy his new shirt.
He's got a new shirt. He's got some new gear. He was at Metroplex Wrestling last weekend. So.
Oh yeah, I mean all these guys are just and ladies. They're all just looking to work. So
absolutely. By the way, speaking of being some of our favorite locals, how about Christy James on Dynamite last week, taking on the champ and Hikaru Shida.
It seemed that the crowd at the Cedar Park Center helped out with that dark match debut, and I think Cody and everybody back there kind of heard the pop. So they brought her back for another run.
Brought her back, had her on Dynamite last week. She's on AEW Dark this week. Hey,
good for her.
So proud of her. So happy for her. So
I mean, she was giving us those workout tips last time around. So
that's true.
So now we have much more to talk about with her next time we get her.
That's right. Which we need to get her. We need to talk Ricky Starks. We need to get you.
I had to ask before we end the show, just because they're bringing back the In Your House name, and I wanted to pose this to the radio listeners out there. Maybe we'll get some text messages about it. But what's your favorite In Your House?
I'll be honest, I don't remember.
Mind Games was good.
Mind Games were good.
Mine, and I guess this is like everybody's.
Beware of Dog was pretty decent. I'll be honest, they don't. The In Your Houses, they were good. They just didn't they weren't one of those that I, just felt like memorizing and holding to for like the first arcade and that type of thing. So.
Okay, well, just in case you're looking for a good In Your House, and any of our listeners are looking for a good In Your House, for all the inside marks they already know, but the best In Your House to watch is Canadian Stampede. I don't think you can get a better In Your House perspective than that particular pay-per-view when they held it in Canada during the Canadian Stampede, and they had so many segments built around it. If you've never seen it before, go watch it. If you haven't seen it in a long time, it still holds up really well because the atmosphere is great.
Yeah, you're right. You're absolutely right. And that'll do it for this week's Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. You can follow Justin the Smash Simmons on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch at The Smash Simmons. You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Stu Myrick. That's STEWMYRICK. You can follow the show on Twitter at SGTW. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Sports Guys Talking Wrestling. We are proud to be the official broadcast partner of the Professional Wrestling Hall of Fame, and we're proud to be part of the great lineup you hear every day. On the flagship station for the Texas Longhorns, we are The Horn. Catch us Wednesday nights, 9 p.m. Central on The Horn, or catch us anytime on demand by going to hornfm.com, click on the On Air tab, or by subscribing to us on your favorite podcast platform. For Justin, I'm Stu. Thank you so much for giving us some of your time tonight. We will see you at the matches.
Goodbye and good night.
And there we go.
The show is made.
The show is made. Just like that. Boom. Well, after I do a little bit of cleanup and then put in data and upload it and send it to our head engineer.
It's just you.
Huh?
Oh,
No, the head engineer for
your
the
head
station.
engineer.
Actually, the head engineer for the Austin Radio Network.
Oh, okay.
He handles both, handles the Horn, Coke FM, and 105 through the Bat.
Oh, okay. So all the
By the way, speaking of Coke FM, happy birthday to Eric Rains from Coke FM. E. Rains, who's a big wrestling fan.
how old's he Reigns now?
How old is he? He's about my age. I think.
Okay,
Might be a little older.
Just want to see if you do.
He marked out when Mark Henry was at the studio.
Oh,
Back
nice.
when we did Bust Open from the 105.3 studio.
Yeah.
And I took Mark, took him in to have him on with Bucky and Aaron, and then took him in to meet Bob Cole, and Eric was there, and he marked out. Pretty good. It was pretty funny.
That's
So,
great.
I need to take Dustin down there one of these days. So.
For real.
All right, so there we go. Like we said, that should be the radio show. If I get the Simon Miller interview tomorrow, the Simon Miller interview will go on the show, and the second segment we did will be for podcast only. So, but hey, this is kind of neat. I kind of enjoyed this.
Yeah, I mean, you just
We may do this again.
No, I mean we should do it even when I walk in late, honestly, because that's just how it always goes.
Well,
I don't
I
want
was just starting when you walked
I
in.
thought we started at 8:05 Central
No,
Time, just
no.
like the TBS.
I
days.
say 8 p.m. It means 8 p.m.
Well, this is how it really works in my life.
I know it works.
That's why
you've
it
been
can be
doing
this-
these.
it's
You've been doing
consistent.
these Wagner wires with me and Adam. Adam's a former Marine, Adam Wagner.
Oh, he gave me a huge shout out if you didn't hear it on Sunday morning.
I did not hear. Where was I? I was sleeping in.
I was like, I figured, but yeah, no, he gave me a huge shout out. Like,
I appreciate
third
that.
hour, so, yeah.
I appreciate that. Adam. Although Adam was, we would do these things. So a little bit of background. So this became the Horn. Adam joked as this was the Horn Annex North
Yeah.
because when the whole COVID-19 thing blew up, they couldn't be in the studio, so different shows were going to different locations. So like I had Chad Hastings coming over doing Shirts and Skins, and then on the weekends had Adam come and do Wagner Wire. And even Adam would walk in, like his show goes on the air at 9 o'clock. And I'm sitting there going, okay, it's 8:55, and I am the only one here. And I'm talking to Sam Pica, who's the producer back in the studio. And he said, yeah, Adam said add a minute or so. And I said, okay, well, if things get crazy, I can start it if you need to. And then, like 8:58, here comes Adam and you walking in. So
He knows what he's doing, man.
8:58, yes. He's not like Chad and I are the ones that will show up like an hour and a half early. Now that part of that comes from the engineer in me. Like when I would do remotes, I was on site 2 hours early.
Yeah, but that's different. Like, I know I have to be on site too, but like being on site and then having to be like at a place at a direct time. Like I'm late for work almost every day. Pretty much.
That doesn't surprise me much.
I know, but if I'm consistently almost late, am I really late?
I'll let your boss answer that because I have no idea.
I think that's the reason why I kept that part-time job. Is because
I knew that was going to happen.
we're live, pal.
I knew that was going to
This is
happen.
what happens when we do cut the feed early.
Yeah. So well,
See,
at
this
least-
is why you tune in to see this great behind-the-scenes stuff.
Oh, I gotta walk that up. All right, well, let me cut this down. But hey, we may do this again next week.
No, you should have questions and comments, and we can chat with you.
Well,
Possibly.
yeah, I don't think there's any questions and comments.
Not tonight, but at some point there might be.
Let's
This
see.
is just the first time. It's kind of like, did anybody cheer for Mark Henry the first time he came out?
I don't know.
Did anybody cheer The Rock the
So-
first time he debuted?
I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, we may do this again next week. So look for it 8 p.m. next Tuesday night on YouTube. And of course, catch us on the Horn and on podcast. For now, Justin and Stu, we'll see you later.
I was trying to get you some of these.